We've all been there, right? That moment when life just throws a curveball. Maybe it feels like a total gut punch. A career crashes, a relationship ends badly, maybe a big financial hit, or just like a personal faceplant that completely torches your self-esteem.
Absolutely. It happens.
Yeah, and it could leave you feeling like, well, just doubts and fears, wondering if you'll actually get back up again.
Right. Just wondering how you move forward.
So today on the Deep Dive, our mission is figuring out exactly how you can reignite your confidence after one of those major setbacks.
A really important mission.
We're going to be unpacking a guide called the Phoenix Protocol, 8 steps to bounce back and reignite your confidence after a major setback.
This seems like a really practical roadmap.
It is, yeah.
So, let's picture someone, maybe Sarah. She just lost her dream job, poured years into it. She's reeling, questioning everything. How would this protocol actually help her?
Okay, Sarah's a perfect example. The core idea, the metaphor here, is really powerful for anyone like Sarah. It's the phoenix, right?
Rising from the ashes. Exactly.
Yeah.
That you genuinely have what it takes to rise from those ashes. But, and this is key, it's not just about getting back up. It's about coming back, bolder, wiser, and maybe even fiercer.
Okay.
And the protocol is really clear. This isn't luck. It's not magic. It's about intentional, gutsy action. That's the phrase they use.
Intentional, gutsy action. I like that.
Yeah. So it lays out these 8 steps.
Yeah.
A clear path when things feel totally overwhelming.
So if Sarah's feeling like she's hit rock bottom, where does she even start? The protocol kicks off with step 1, honor the ashes, facing reality head on. And the idea is, well, it sounds simple, but probably isn't. Don't run from the wreckage. Own it.
Right. Easier said than done.
Totally. It breaks down to 3 things.
Yeah.
Tell it straight, like actually say or write down what happened, no sugarcoating. Then radical acceptance. Stop fighting what you can't change. And finally, skip the blame. Just treat the setback like a fact, not a judgment. For Sarah, though, who's probably feeling a ton of shame, maybe self-blame, what's the big hurdle with radical acceptance?
Well, that's a great question because often it's the fear. Fear of judgment from others, sure, but maybe even more powerfully from yourself.
Oh, okay.
People resist accepting it because it feels like admitting failure, like saying, I am weak or I messed up.
Right.
But what's so powerful about this first step, this radical acceptance, is that it's not about saying what happened was okay. It's about unblocking your energy.
Unblocking.
Yeah, all that mental and emotional energy tied up in denial or fighting it or wishing it were different. Once Sarah stops fighting the reality the job is gone, she frees up all these internal resources.
Nice.
And then she can actually start rebuilding. So this honesty, it just clears the path. It's foundational for any real healing.
That's a really important distinction. Accepting isn't condoning. Okay,
Yeah.
so once that reality sinks in, the protocol moves to step 2, feel the fire, which feels a bit counterintuitive sometimes.
They can.
It says, stoicism is overrated. Emotions need airtime to heal. So you got to let yourself grieve, mourn the lost dream, the identity, cry, shout, whatever, let it out. Then mindfully observe the emotions without getting totally swamped, like notice them, name them, let them pass.
Awareness.
And this seems really practical. Set emotional limits, like maybe 15, 20 minutes a day, just for feeling those tough emotions, then shift to something else. For Sarah, maybe drowning in grief, how does that structure actually help? Does it work?
It's fascinating, actually. It taps into how we process emotion. Trying to just stuff it down, be stoic. It doesn't really work long term, often makes it worse.
Right, it just pops up later.
Exactly. Your brain needs to process experiences. So giving emotions dedicated time, like a container, it's like, okay, this is the time for this. And there's neuroscience behind it too. Just acknowledging and naming an emotion, even briefly, helps calm down the intensity. Lets the thinking part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, get back online.
Okay.
So for Sarah, those time sessions become like a controlled release. It stops the endless looping, the rumination that can just paralyze you.
Got it.
But it still honors that what she's feeling is real and valid. It's about being present with it, processing it, then choosing to shift, not letting it run the whole show.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so after acknowledging reality and processing the feelings, step 3 is reframe the narrative. This feels really personal.
Deeply personal.
The core idea. A setback doesn't define you. Your story about it does.
Powerful.
So it suggests you detach your identity. You are the failure. You experienced one. Maybe list your strengths, past wins.
Remind yourself, yeah.
Then find lessons, not labels. Ask what you learned instead of just slapping a negative label on yourself.
Right. Growth mindset.
And finally, craft a comeback tale. Kind of visualize the future story where this setback actually becomes a catalyst.
Yeah.
It sounds amazing, but how do you actually rewrite a story that feels so real, so painful?
Well, it really taps into the power of how we see ourselves. Our internal story isn't just describing the past. It's kind of setting the stage for the future. When something big happens, like Sarah losing her job, it's so easy to think, I am a failure. That becomes the identity.
Yeah, I can see that.
The protocol pushes back hard on that. It says, no, you experienced a failure. That little shift in language is huge. Detachment.
Right.
And the brain loves stories. So actively looking for lessons. What did Sarah learn about what she wants in a job or about that company culture? It shifts her from being a victim to being like an active learner.
Active learner.
And crafting that comeback tale, even just as a mental picture, it literally starts building new pathways in the brain. It's not just daydreaming. It's constructing a new identity, a resilient one that pulls you forward.
Separating the event from who you are. That's key. Okay, so from rewriting the story, we go to step 4, analyze the debris. Sounds a bit forensic.
A little bit, yeah. Turn the wreckage into wisdom.
Right. 3 parts here. Break it down, figure out objectively what went wrong, and own your part, admit mistakes, but without beating yourself up, because responsibility empowers you.
Crucial to say.
And seek trusted feedback. Get insights from someone unbiased. Listen openly. This sounds like it needs a really clear head, which is tough after a setback. How do you walk that line between responsibility and just self-criticism?
Yeah, that's a really fine line, and this step is quite sophisticated. Self-blame just shuts you down. It focuses on who you are. I'm bad. I'm incompetent.
Right, paralyzing.
Exactly. Taking responsibility focuses on what you did or maybe didn't do. It's about actions. So Sarah might think, okay, I maybe didn't network enough. Or perhaps I should have voiced my concerns sooner.
Okay, specific behaviors.
Right, things she can actually change next time. It gives her agency. And that feedback piece is vital too. We all have blind spots, right? Especially when we're emotional.
Totally.
A trusted outside view can help Sarah see things more clearly, maybe factors she missed. It helps sort out what was genuinely her part versus, external stuff she couldn't control. It moves you from just stewing to actual usable insights.
From stewing to insights. Good phrase. Okay, so after that tough analysis, step 5 is gather your flock. Love that image.
Me too.
Because, like the protocol says, forget the lone wolf myth, real healing happens in community.
So true.
So identify your champions, your true allies. Open up to them honestly. And this feels important. Protect your energy. Distance yourself from the critics, the negativity.
Absolutely critical.
I can imagine, though, after a big blow like Sarah's, reaching out feels hard, vulnerable. What's the specific power of this flock beyond just, general niceness?
Oh, it's way beyond just niceness. Social support is like a known factor in resilience, scientifically proven.
Okay.
When Sarah shares what she's going through with someone trusted, it literally changes her physiology, lowers stress hormones like cortisol, boosts oxytocin, that bonding hormone. It calms her nervous system.
Wow. Physically calming.
Yeah. But that protect your energy part is the crucial nuance here. When you're rebuilding after a setback, you are vulnerable.
Definitely.
Negative people, or even well-meaning folks who just offer bad advice or criticism, they can drain your reserves when you have very little to spare.
Right, like energy vampires.
Exactly. So the protocol is smart. The flock isn't just anybody. It's a carefully chosen group. People who offer real, non-judgmental support, who remind you of your worth when you're doubting it. It's about building a safe space, like a greenhouse for her recovery.
Good greenhouse for recovery. I like that. Okay, so you've got your support system, your flock. Step 6 is test your wings. Time for action.
Taking flight carefully.
The idea is confidence returns through action, not wistful thinking.
Yeah.
So start small. Tiny, achievable things. Update one part of your resume, send one networking email, go to a short online event.
Baby steps.
Then celebrate wins. Track every little victory.
Yeah.
Because that momentum builds confidence. And importantly, focus on effort, not just the outcome. Value the trying.
Yes.
For someone like Sarah, maybe feeling totally paralyzed by the idea of job hunting again,
Yeah.
what's the psychological trick to getting those first small actions going and actually sticking with it?
The secret sauce here is something psychologists call self-efficacy. It's your belief in your own ability to handle a specific situation.
Okay, self-efficacy.
After a setback, that belief takes a nosedive. Big, scary goals just make you feel more inadequate.
Yeah, overwhelming.
But starting small, it creates immediate proof that Sarah can act. Every tiny win, sending that email, making that call, gives her a little hit of confidence, a feeling of competence.
Like building blocks.
Exactly. And it builds momentum. Psychologically, when you see yourself making even tiny progress, your brain gets more willing to try the next thing. And focusing on effort. That's brilliant.
Why is that so key?
Because it shifts control back to you. Sarah can't control if she gets the job offer, but she can control making the calls, sending the applications, putting in the effort.
Focus on what you can control.
Precisely. Success then becomes about her courage, her persistence. Not just about whether the outside world says yes or no right away. That builds real resilience.
That shift is powerful. Okay, we're nearing the end. Step 7 is nurture the new growth. This is all about radical self-care.
The foundation.
The protocol says you can't thrive in a toxic environment. So prioritize the basics. Sleep, good food, moving your body, restore your spirit walks in nature, hobbies, meditation.
Refuel.
And mind your mind. Cut out negative news, maybe distance from negative people. This all sounds like, well, common sense. But why is it so often skipped when someone's facing a big setback?
It gets skipped precisely because it seems basic. Or people feel like, I don't deserve self-care right now, or I don't have time, I need to fix the problem.
Right, feels like an indulgence.
Exactly. But it's the absolute opposite. When you're recovering, your body and mind are under huge stress that drains your energy, messes up sleep, fogs your thinking. Trying to rebuild without taking care of these basics, it's like trying to build a skyscraper on quicksand.
Good analogy.
The protocol really stresses self-care isn't a luxury. It's the non-negotiable fuel you need to do all the other steps. For Sarah, getting enough sleep might literally be the most productive thing she does some days.
Okay.
Because it rebuilds her capacity to cope, to think clearly, to act. It's about building that internal strength, not just tackling the external problem.
Foundational, not optional. Got it. And finally, step 8, embrace the sky. This brings it all home.
The final ascent.
It says your confidence isn't complete until you use it to uplift others. So rediscover your why, your values. Shift from me to we help someone else out. Set an inspiring new goal. This feels like a really powerful, maybe unexpected final step. What does looking outward really do for your own recovery?
It's often the missing piece, the thing that really cements the new confidence and brings back a sense of purpose.
How so?
Well, when you've been so focused inward on healing, turning your attention outward gives you perspective. Helping someone else, mentoring, volunteering, even just really listening to a friend, it triggers different psychological rewards.
Like what?
A sense of competence, feeling connected, finding meaning beyond just your own situation. So maybe Sarah mentors a student just starting in her old field. That's not just being nice. It proves to herself that her experiences, even the painful ones, gave her wisdom, something valuable to offer. It transforms the inward focus of recovery into an outward empowering energy. It kind of completes the journey.
Completes the journey. That's beautiful. But as the protocol notes, it isn't a straight path. It's a courageous climb. There will be setbacks within your comeback. That feels really honest.
Absolutely. It's crucial to remember that healing isn't linear. Sarah will have good days, bad days, maybe moments where she doubts herself again.
Yeah, real life.
Exactly. So the protocol emphasizes patience, self-kindness throughout. But that core message holds. From your greatest falls come your strongest flights. It's this powerful idea that weathering the storm itself can make you stronger, more resilient than before.
Wow. What a fantastic deep dive. Those 8 steps from the Phoenix Protocol.
Yeah.
They really do offer a clear path for anyone feeling lost after a setback like our Sarah.
They really do. And maybe, as you're thinking about this, here's a final thought to consider. How might the ashes themselves, the specific challenges, the difficulties you faced, how might they not just be something you rise from, but actually be the unique fuel for your strongest flights yet?
The ashes as fuel. That's a really powerful thought to chew on. We hope you reflect on that and maybe, just maybe start your own Phoenix Protocol journey if you need it.